Eternum. No one wants to go to Eternum.
Okay, so maybe some people want to go to Eternum. This is when I'm recording this video, New World launch week. It is one of the first AAA MMO launches from a Western developer in a long time, several years in fact. My name is Redbeard Flynn. I am a variety streamer on Twitch and author of a few books that might fit well with the setting of New World if you want to check them out. Thank you for joining me. Now, probably shouldn't do it this way, but I'm going to give you the too long didn't read before we get into the details, right? So it's pretty straightforward. The lead up to launch was exciting. The launch itself was stable, but frustrating. Once in game, it felt like the game had been out for a long time. Those who could get in were greeted with stability and a promising MMO that was fun. Amazon Game Studios also moved quickly to communicate solutions for the current queue problems. Now that I've given you every reason not to continue watching, thus tanking my metrics on this video, please join me as we go into some details. And if you got what you needed, please like and subscribe. So before launch, hype continued to grow with articles and content flying, as well as growing enthusiasm and teasing from the New World Twitter account. New World made a great decision to provide server names before launch, which has allowed sites like this one to provide a handy server selection list which shows which server content creators have picked, as well as an impact rating based on follower count. Releasing the list allows coordination across all parts of the community. Will it alleviate all issues? Spoiler, no. But it's a good step outside of a mega server or data center like Final Fantasy, which has its own server issues. I believe recently it just went down for overnight. On the lore front, the Play New World YouTube channel linked below has launched part 3 of their slickly produced and incredibly well voice acted lore videos. These short 1 to 2 minute videos work like mini trailers, and I recommend them to immerse yourself before and during the game. Now, don't go into these expecting to learn about important characters or events. That's not what these do. Instead, they focus on making you feel like you're entering a world and that you have a role to play. Could these have been better? I think so. They could have been longer and included more actual substantive lore, but that doesn't mean they didn't excite me to play. Now, launch day, the day I'm making this video, we're currently making this video at 3 p.m. CST. So a lot's happened. EU servers launched first, and as expected, there was a rush to these servers both to play the game and to reserve names, because names are reserved globally and by account. Server queues for these servers did grow very high. At one point, it was reported up to 25,000 on some of the Australian servers. I think it was 15,000 on some of the Frankfurt server. So we had a little bit of warning of what was to come for the US servers, but I think most of us were asleep. When the US server launched, US East, I was able to jump in immediately, right as it opened. I got to make my character with no issues in the character select, and then I went into a disconcerting black screen, which led into a login queue. Mine was just shy of 4K for the Morrow server, but many were over 10,000, even to 15,000 or 25,000 as recently as just a few minutes ago when I checked. My queue began right at launch, and I was in game on the Morrow server after about 4.5 hours in that queue. Queues were slow, painfully so, which is both a good and a bad sign. This means players were getting in game and staying in game, which hopefully means everyone is enjoying themselves, but it also calls into question the server size and if New World is truly able to be an MMO with what the FAQs say is a cap of only 1,000 per server. Now that has been disproven already by the game itself, which shows a cap of 2,000 per server. More on that in just a moment. It shouldn't go unreported though, that even with these massive queues and over 600,000 concurrent players, including both those unfortunately sitting in queue and those in game, these servers have not buckled. This bodes well for the game's future and downtime avoidance. You know, because I put that in this video, as soon as I launch the video, the servers are going to be down. That shit. I also should note that I tested the new player versus returning player queues on the Morrow server, the one that I had been able to get into earlier today, and there's a very noticeable difference. As a new player, it was a 20,000 plus server queue with a wait time estimated around 300 something hours. The queue as a returning player was 800. This is something to keep in mind when looking at your servers, and also maybe don't pick the server that has the largest queue right now, because you're going to be one of many returning players. Once in game, there's a bit more noticeable lag than in open beta, but I believe that's strictly because of the number of people on the server. There are a few drop frames here and there, but it was fine. The biggest drop was when you come across a giant field of campfires that everyone's laid out right in front of the starting area. By noon, there was the biggest announcement probably of the day. New World announced that they were aware of the lengthy queue times and were working on ways to address it, including increasing max capacity of existing servers, adding additional servers, and the opportunity over the next 2 weeks to relocate characters to a new server of their choice at no cost. The last note has alleviated some pressure on companies that had planned to roll on certain servers, because it allows for people to play and consolidate later when things calm down. And remember, with any MMO launch, they will calm down. These kind of issues with MMOs are temporary. You see it with pretty much every game that I have been a part of. I have been playing MMOs for over 2 decades. Yes, I am old, quite old. I've seen it with EverQuest. I've seen it with World of Warcraft, with Star Wars Galaxies, with Final Fantasy, with Guild Wars 2. Like the queues, the downtime issues, they go hand in hand with the launch of any game that has mass appeal, because there's always going to be more people interested in the beginning than those that will stay long term. And devs have to kind of work that out, where they're not going to have dead servers, because that's what's probably around the corner, is a bunch of dead servers that will have to be merged. MMOs are designed to be long term. So take a breath, try and get in where you can, pick some of the lower population servers, and enjoy the experience. Enjoy all of the experience. It is rare that we get an MMO launch that is this big now. The space feels like it has shrunk in recent years. So it's exciting for me as a long-term fan of the genre to see so much interest in a game that has been in development for a while, has had kind of a tormented cycle, and has a lot of negative marks on it, but also a lot of positive stuff. Just kind of soak it in and enjoy the experience of being at an MMO launch for maybe your first time. I hope to see you soon in Eternum or in another MMO somewhere else. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, I am Redbeard Flynn. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.